Mr. Beast is getting a lot of criticism regarding his new video. Mr. Beast uploaded this video called 1000 Deaf People Hear Sound for the First Time. Here's a short clip of the video.
This is the first out of 1,000 deaf people that we're gonna help hear again. And she hasn't heard her mother's voice in 4 years. Can you hear?
I love you.
Next we help Kaylee. Sudi, and even entire families hear their loved ones again.
Now, Mr. Beast did that classic thumbnail where he puts his arm on the deaf kid, and it looks a little bit creepy. But honestly, I don't blame him. That's kind of what you have to do for a YouTube thumbnail. He has to have his face in because that's his brand, and then he has to have the kid because that's the subject of the video. Now, as usual, Twitter completely lost their minds over this, similar to that other video, 1000 blind people see for the first time. Now, it turns out, more than Twitter, there's actually an award-winning journalist who wrote multiple articles about Mr. Beast because he wasn't happy with that video. His name is Liam, and apparently he's also deaf himself, so this is what he had to say about it. Allies don't spend all of their time talking about how great an ally they are, they don't center themselves, and they certainly don't expect you to like and subscribe at the end of the video. My take on Mr. Beast's latest video for Indie Voices. Now, before we get into this, just note that he's actually made another article about this and several Twitter responses to people's reaction to the article, meaning that this is definitely seems like a clout chasing move considering the amount of stuff he's actually created about it. Deaf people like me deserve better than Mr. Beast's latest piece of inspiration PP. When watching Mr. Beast's video, will the average viewer be more alert to the needs of deaf people, or will they instead be drawn to the heroic Donaldson going out of his way to splash around some cash? That's right, splashing around some cash and literally changing the lives of thousands of people. I will admit that Mr. Beast is obviously getting a lot of positive press from this as well, you know, helping the deaf and the blind. But just because it's positive for Jimmy, does it actually detract from the fact that he's helping people? I don't think so. When I had my first hearing aid switched on, it certainly wasn't a one and done situation like YouTube creator Mr. Beast Donaldson would have us believe in his latest video. It was a sudden flood of noise, it was overwhelming, and it definitely required more fine-tuning and adjustments over time. Yet this process isn't something that fits neatly into a 6-minute video, which apparently took the Online Personalities team almost 4,000 hours to edit. So instead, we're left with viral content, which is nothing more than harmful sensationalism. That's right, guys, I can't think of a single piece of content more damaging than Mr. Beast actually helping people hear. So when young Mr. Beast fans see their idol literally going out of their way to help people, obviously Mr. Beast can just do another one of those videos of spend $100,000 on a pizza, or dumb shit like that. Instead, he actually chooses to use his money for good, and when a young viewer sees that, they get inspired. They'll be like, okay, I'm gonna try to do something good when I grow up as well. In the end, who actually cares if it's sensationalized? There's a bunch of creators that even I don't like, and they do like these huge charity streams, and they make a lot of profit from it as well, but in the end, they still end up donating millions of dollars to charity. Am I gonna take that away from them? Not really. I don't care if they're profiting off it. At least $1 million went to charity, you know? After coming under fire for a video in which he helped treat 1,000 people's blindness, Donaldson decided to double down on videos in which he would go out of his way to help, I like how help is in quotations, people from the disabled community, this time uploading a video called 1,000 Deaf People Here for the First Time. The video thumbnail alone hints at what angle it's going for. A young boy cups a hand to his right here with tears photoshopped onto his cheeks. It's exactly like the clips you'll see online babies crying when they have their hearing aid switched on, but again, that doesn't tell the whole story. What Mr. Beast has produced here is flat out inspiration PP. It's a term coined by the great disability activist Stella Young, objectifying of disabled people for the benefit of non-disabled people. How is it the benefit of non-disabled people? The whole point of the video is helping disabled people. Obviously, I do get a little bit of the criticism. It is a bit ridiculous to Photoshop a tear on a kid, but obviously some of those people did cry, and technically that did happen. But it's kind of what you have to do for a YouTube thumbnail. If it was like TikTok and you didn't need to have a thumbnail, Mr. Beast wouldn't do that. Is it his fault that that type of thumbnail gets the most amount of views and therefore will inspire the most amount of people and allow him to do those similar types of projects in the future? Probably not. With a flick of a switch, individuals from multiple different countries can suddenly hear. I will say that switch animation is sus for sure. And so ends their moment in the video. As we move on to the next person MrBeast can help, like some auditory Jesus. I love how you're fixated on pretty much anything negative. So MrBeast is just not allowed to do anything good because it makes him seem like a good guy, like a Jesus or God. What's the problem with that? He's literally doing God's work. I'm not saying he is a god. I'm sure he has many flaws himself, like, I don't know, the thumbnail or some of the animations in the video weren't great. I just don't think he's willingly portraying himself as a god. It's just a side product of helping a bunch of kids, you know? This is one part of the problem. It amplifies the dangerous misconception that implants are cures or fixes for deafness. They aren't. They simply produce the sensation of hearing. They do not restore it. And when deaf people take off these devices for whatever reason, say to go to sleep at night, they are, in these moments, deaf. What the hell are you talking about? When I take off my glasses to go to sleep at night, in those moments, I am blind. I don't care, though, because I'm going to bed, you know? In fact, it's actually annoying to hear stuff when I'm trying to sleep, you know? That is the wildest argument I've ever heard. That's like saying these glasses don't help me see because I take them off in the shower, and in those moments of showering, I can't see the soap clearly. Like, okay, maybe that sucks, but like for 5 minutes, I don't really care. I can just close my eyes and think about something else. It's actually disgusting how on the internet you can try to be the best person ever and a large group of people will just hate you for no reason. So obviously the article wasn't received that well, so he's responding to some of the backlash here. Here they come. Another DM I won't share contains a 4-letter word beginning with C. Sadly, it's not cute. What's laughable with this response is it completely ignores my point that hearing aids aren't this holy grail we all strive for. Some of us don't even want them. This is the dumbest shit ever. It's when people like this pretend that it's better for deaf people to stay deaf, and to offer them any sort of help is discriminatory because you're denying your true self, which is deaf. Sure, you can live a perfectly fine life being deaf as well, but most deaf people probably want to hear. Now, if you actually think it's bigoted to assume that, I don't know, disabled people actually want to walk, you're completely brain dead, okay? It is an insane inconvenience. Somebody DM'd him, are you jealous that you weren't in MrBeast's video? Your opinion is extremely ignorant to the fact that, unlike you, Jimmy actually brings value to people's lives. That's a burn. Then he gets mad at other article writers for not representing him properly. Hey, Unilad, really appreciate you linking to my piece in your report, but if you gave my article another read, you'll know that your headline about MrBeast curing deafness with hearing aids is dangerously inaccurate. Please rectify this immediately. Nobody's using the term cured in the literal sense. They're using it as in it helps them to see or hear. For example, these glasses obviously didn't cure blindness. It just helps me see. If I take them off, obviously I just can't see anymore. Here's the second article. Deaf people criticize harmful MrBeast video in which he helps 1,000 people hear for the first time. One specific thing that was just a cherry on top for me was the on-off switch animation that they edited onto the video when testing out the hearing devices for the first time. Further perpetuates harmful stereotypes and ideas like deafness is all or nothing, on or off. Listen, obviously that wasn't the best animation to use, but that is the most familiar animation to lots of people. I mean, they pour 4,000 hours of editing into this. They know what people like to see and what gets the highest retention. So although you don't actually like the way it was edited, it was edited in a way to get the most amount of views. Now, I do want to clarify that although I drew a lot of parallels between hearing aids and glasses, they are not the same. While glasses give you pretty much perfect vision, hearing aids will not give you perfect hearing, which is part of the reason why they're angry, but it does help you hear more than you could hear before and enough to actually recognize what your family and friends are saying, which is immensely useful. Anyways, can we stop with the shit, please? Can we just appreciate a good action? Click this video or I eat my cap.